All right, here we go. Is League of Legends rigged? So let's define the term first. Rigged would mean something like deceptive and or dishonest manipulation of some system to get some desired outcome, to get or affect some outcome. So rigged, the term rigged basically is about deception, how you perceive some system works. You're participating in it, whatever, in this case, League of Legends. And specifically, we'll be talking about matchmaking. This is specifically what we'll be talking about. And you're thinking, okay, this works one way, but actually it works either slightly or more than slightly differently. And this is why term rigged is very much one of the most appropriate terms you could use to describe this deceptive manipulation. So people who are shying away from using term rigged, I suggest you get over it and you start using the term. This is what you should be calling deceptive and or dishonest manipulation. You should be calling it rigging. Is this rigged? Is that rigged? Is matchmaking rigged? If it's if it's deceptive, you don't even have to go into the ethical evaluation whether it's dishonest. You can focus on deceptive and it will be enough. Deceptive manipulation will be enough for something to be rigged. Typical view that people have in for matchmaking in League of Legends is every player has MMR or matchmaking rating. Players are put in same MMR pool in the queue. After taking into account position, mid, bot, jungler, players are randomly selected to be in each team. Due to this randomness, sometimes you get better or worse teammates and enemies. So this is the typical view when talking to people, how they perceive matchmaking League of Legends works. And something is wrong with this view, especially when we take into account that your behavior will affect matchmaking. Now, let's go and take a look at one document. This is a patent application by Riot Games. This particular document is from 2014. There's even mentioning 2013. Applicant is Riot Games. Inventor is Jeffrey Lin. This is Riot Lite. And it's called Systems and Methods that Enable Player Matching for Multiplayer Online Games. This is based on League of Legends, because this was their only game at the time. And this is a patent application for what they consider one and only for matchmaking. The Riot doesn't have many patents for matchmaking. And in here, they propose upgrade or improvement over skill level and experience matchmaking as predictors whether a player will have enjoyable experience in the game. They propose improvement to additionally take into account player behavior when matching players, which would then increase their predictors. And predictors means also, of course, their control for whether the player will have miserable or enjoyable experience. And this will, of course, affect outcomes as well. And if we scroll all the way down where the charts are, we can take a look at the charts and see that there's a user profile database. Every player has a profile. And part of this profile will be behavior data. Part of behavior data will be reporting feedback. When you report somebody, when somebody reports you, whoever gets reported or honored will be stored. This feedback data will be stored in profile as behavior data. And this is not going to be the only behavior data in the game. Riot can generate their own behavior data, but one of behavior data is report feedback from users when they report or honor players. And then when you queue one of the modes in the game, they receive your request. The matchmaking algorithm will pull your behavior data from user profile database and create player matches for the game session based at least in part on queried behavior data, which means your behavior will be used to match you as part of the many other factors. And they will calculate personality categories for each player. So there could be all sorts of categories, like this person is more verbally abusing, this person is more, I don't know, AFK, this person is more honorable, etc., etc. They could create all sorts of categories, not only from feedback. Potentially they could generate their own personality categories as well. And then they could look for compatible personality scores. They could look, if we match these players together, what are going to be the outcomes? Are they going to be compatible with each other? Is the win rate going to go up or down? What's going to happen? And vice versa. If we match them against each other, if is this player going to play better against this kind of player or against that kind of player? There could be all sorts of like a mesh, like a network of some kind of compatibility scores. And then they will take that into account when they match you. They will first create a pool of players based on skill level and their experience, which we can interpret as matchmaking rating. But then after that, additional filtering is being done using behavior data to see who's going to be matched with whom. So this tells you it's not purely random whether your teammates end up with you and whether the enemies end up against you. It's not purely random. There are additional filters at play here. And this is the main motivation that tells you that Riot has thought things through regarding behavior influencing matchmaking. They have even applied a patent for it. They have given you the concepts in the patent application. And then the proof is in the pudding. When you play the game, you can observe that a drastic change in behavior will have effect on your matchmaking selection of players, both your teammates and enemy. Enemy will become more difficult if you're misbehaving, and your teammates will become inferior to the enemy if you misbehave, and vice versa. If you change your behavior for supposedly what you perceive that the system could recognize as desirable behavior, maybe you're getting honored more instead of getting reported more by other players and everything that's associated with that kind of behavior, then you can notice that your matchmaking, your future matchmaking over some period of time will change for the better. Enemy will become less strong, less skilled, more incompatible with each other, and your teammates are going to be more superior to the enemy, including yourself. The proof is in the pudding. So this document is basically all you need to know that the game is rigged. Matchmaking is rigged. Behavior, because nobody expects this. When I talk to people, nobody expects this. Nobody says, oh yeah, behavior will shape your matchmaking and will have effect on your future matchmaking. So your profile will then affect your matchmaking. No, nobody says that. Nobody expects that. Everybody's deceived by this. So yeah, the game is rigged. Furthermore, you can say exactly the same thing that I said for behavior right here, right now. You can say the same thing for performance. They can track all your performance, and create profiles, how well you last hit minions, how well you do in solo fights, in team fights, what's your CS per minute, what's your damage per minute, what's your gold per minute, do you do objectives, do you not do objectives, are you getting, and then the behavior as well, are you getting reported, what words you type in the chat, etc, etc, etc. But focusing only on performance, then can know based on your profile performance data without having any rating. They don't necessarily have to have a rating, but they can know based on these profiles of your performance whether you are bronze kind of player, whether you're gold kind of player, whether you are diamond kind of player, etc. Because these templates of your performance are going to be different. And then at exactly the same matchmaking rating, they can know, okay, this player looks like, based on our templates, like more skilled player, and this player looks like less skilled player. Combining with behavior, they can then give you extremely superior teams or extremely inferior teams to then affect your matchmaking experience and the outcomes. And that's it. The game is unfortunately very much rigged. It has always been rigged. The only thing to have in mind is this is very old. You can only imagine over the years how much more sophisticated it is now, but the concept is what matters from this patent. The concept of behavior affecting your matchmaking. And then once you have opened Pandora's box, then it's also, of course, your performance. Any kind of tracking can affect your matchmaking experience, and selection of players. Selection of players can be manipulated due to this profiling. So this is the takeaway from this patent. And it's more sophisticated now, of course. They can use artificial intelligence. They can generate their own, all sorts of templates that they compare your profile with to then put you in some category and then match you accordingly. So the matchmaking is very likely very tailored, and it's not equal, it's not fair. The fairness is out the window because it's tailored, because it's different for everybody based on these hidden criteria that people don't know about. We don't have insight into all the criteria that go into this, how they do it behind the scenes. We can only infer from playing the game and knowing this basic concept that your behavior will be affecting your matchmaking. You can then see the proof in the pudding by playing the game. Thanks for watching.